In the summer of 2009, I took my 3 sons to North Carolina to visit friends. And while I was there, I started feeling not very well. I attribute it to late nights and too much ice cream or something. But when we returned home, I still was feeling kind of off. I was 42 years old and I bought a pregnancy test. And I will not lie to you, when I saw those 2 pink lines come up, I cried. And it wasn't about the diaper changing and sleepless nights and toddler tantrums that lay ahead of me. It was really just that my marriage was crumbling. I was married to a man who was an alcoholic and emotionally abusive, and in that moment, I could not imagine how I was going to sustain another human being in the midst of that huge mess. I went downstairs and showed my husband the pregnancy test, and he took one look at the tears in my eyes, and he went and grabbed a glass out of the kitchen and filled it half full of water. He came out and drank the water in front of me, and he said, "That is the best half-full glass of water I have ever had." It was maybe one of the best things he ever said to me. When you are 42, the doctors never stop using the words advanced maternal age. They do not let you forget how old you are or the, horrible possible outcomes of this scenario. So I had plenty to worry about, but I was also worried about my 3 boys. They had the most beautiful brotherhood. They were, 10, 11, and 14, and they were so close. And I just wondered what would happen to that when another sibling came on the scene. And I worried about this new person. How would this person not feel left out? How would they ever break into that brotherhood that had existed for so long? But mostly, to be honest, I worried about myself. I worried about my capacity to love another human and the way they needed to be loved in the midst of this scenario that was so difficult for me. It was already taking everything out of me to take care of my 3 boys the way they needed to be taken care of in this hard marriage. When I was in the delivery room, I said 2 words I had never said before while giving birth. The doctor said to me, "It's time to push," and I said, "I can't." And he said, "Oh, yes, you can." And he and my husband came up on both sides of the bed and pushed my knees up to my shoulders. And, life does not offer us an option in this circumstance. When my youngest son was born, all of my worries about my own capacity just vanished. The thing is that love has the strangest alchemy. The demand creates the supply, and the more you love, the more love that there is. I don't know why I was so worried about my 3 sons and how they would do with their brother. Their baby brother didn't walk until he was 18 months old because they carried him around so much. And it turned out that this human was very difficult and also a total badass, and he was absolutely going to make his way into this brotherhood that had existed long before he was born. They now have this shared language of anime and video games, and it's like he was always there. Just before he turned 5, I divorced their father, and I became a full custody single parent. But miraculously, Love kept doing its magical thing, and I had what I needed to love the four of them the way they needed to be loved. In 2017, my three older boys all moved out within 2 months of each other. And on one of the last nights we were all together at dinner, I said, let's play high-low. When they were growing up, we had played this at dinner time or like after camping trips or vacation. You know, what was your high today? What was your low? And I said to them, what was your high of our whole lives together? And my second youngest looked at his little brother and he said, him. He's the forever high. And that was that. Game over.